If you're gonna get future endeavored, you might as well do it right. Viewer discretion is advised. It's time! No, not Vader time, but time for a well-loved end-of-summer tradition. No, not SummerSlam. Hulk Hogan's Manga Mania, now in its 5th installment. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me read the exact same description I read last year. I mean, it still works, right? Back in Japan during the Hulkster's first WWE title run, a series of short weekly comics called Yappa, a Hogan Yo, were printed in the pages of Bon Bon magazine. Hogan did perform often in Japan, both in and out of the WWE, where he was known as the Ichiban, was quite popular, and showed off a slightly different set of moves than we're used to. The comics were rude, vulgar, and hilarious. We wouldn't have it any other way. Since this is the 5th installment, I don't want to take up too much time repeating what many already know. So for a more detailed description, take a look at the other 4 videos and get the complete backstory. Now, let's get right to the action. Hogan's newest opponent enters the ring. A massive wrestler weighing 365 pounds, with lightning tattoos all over his head. Agile as a grasshopper and more powerful than a steam shovel, this newcomer is able to toss the giants, Andre and Baba, out of the ring with ease. He is Boom Boom Bugalo. How could Hogan stand a chance? Worry not, wrestling fans, Hogan is ready to take him on, one-on-one. In fact, he has a new look for his own bald head. Just look at that tatted bald head. Hogan then proclaims that he could beat Boom Boom with one finger. He has won matches that way before, you know. But before he can act, Boom Boom picks up Hogan and spins him like a ball on just one finger. He then proceeds to put Hogan through the ringer. It looks like the match is over, but Hogan comes back, hulking up, using his Ichiban to pick up Boom Boom, spin him around, and dribble him like an XXXXXXL basketball. The bouncing is too erratic and it looks like Boom Boom may fall out of the ring, but Hogan grabs him by the tights and pulls him back, ripping the tights. And, well, unpacking everything is the best way to say it, I guess. As Hogan is walking down the street, some tough young street kids roll by and mock him, yelling, "Hey, Baldy!" This upsets Hogan because, as he is willing to show us, he is not bald. I mean, just look at this picture from 10 years ago. He always keeps on hand with him. See? Not bald. He starts showing it to everyone around, including this guy who Hogan says is someone that should be called Baldy. This fellow takes offense, saying he really isn't bald either. Look, 3 hairs on his head. Now, if you looked at him 10 years ago, you'd see a real bald head. See the progress he's made? This guy gets even more upset and starts screaming and foaming at the mouth, demanding an apology. Hogan, as only Hogan can be, tries to run away, but steps on this guy's foot. The guy screams in pain and says, "Hey, those aren't my feet." "They're not?" says Hogan. "No. What do you think they are?" Wow. What a weirdo. Late at night in the gym, the Road Warriors are taking a little break. Suddenly they hear a noise. It's Hogan, making an unusual and ugly face. "What do you want?" they say. Hogan says he came by to show off his latest finishing move, the Miracle Splatter Deathlock. Hawk and Animal are floored. Hogan grabs Hawk and says, "It's very simple. I can shapeshift into a dragon, and that allows me to bend my bones in a way that I can lock anyone into a submission hold at any time that no one can escape from." Animal says, "Wow, those bones are gonna pop. Run!" Hogan winds up in a body cast from the move. Maybe the world just isn't ready for it. At the local bank, a robber kicks the door open, holds up a gun, and demands all the money from the safe. Just then, out of nowhere, a yo-yo conks the robber on the head. Who could be so deftly skilled with a yo-yo like that? Mike Jones? No, it's Asamiya Sakicho, the lacy panties detective. With the robber getting up to his feet, Saki jumps up and distracts the robber with a full view. It's enough to make me forget where I was, I'll tell you that. With the robber subdued, it's off to the next mission. Suddenly, Saki comes across Hogan, who's running around naked, as he is often found doing. She is able to handcuff herself to Hogan, but underestimating his strength, breaks off the handcuffs and makes a getaway. Saki follows Hogan around the corner, but you could say Hogan came out the winner of this battle. Hogan is taking a nice Sunday afternoon away from the ring and heading on over to the lake for some fishing. Even if he doesn't catch anything, it will still be a nice, relaxing time, and that's always good enough. The line catches something. Hogan pulls up a wild boar. How did this get in the water? A local man walks by and quips, "Wow, you caught a big one." Hogan can't understand it. There are animals floating around everywhere. None of this makes sense. Then a beautiful woman shows up, picks up the townie, and holds him. It's his wife. Even if this guy was a billionaire, how is this possible? Just then, the couple is shot dead. Hogan runs for cover. The assailant is Unko, Hogan's dog? Unko says he's tired of being subservient to humans, and they all must die. He sprays Hogan with gunfire. It was all a dream, you know. Despite that, Hogan wakes up and runs to the next room to get revenge on Unko. Let's take a quick time out. When we come back, a special guest appearance from someone you haven't seen in the ring since WrestleMania 14.
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
Yo, Hulkamaniacs, it's me, Hulk Hogan. Check out my new look. Brother, I was at Arby scarfing down a chicken cordon bleu. That natural chicken tastes righteous. That's because it's not all pumped up with phosphates and fillers, which gave the Hulkster an idea. Maybe I don't need to be pumped up either. Who needs to be doing bench presses and deadlifts all day?
Now all of Arby's chicken is made with 100% all-natural, all-delicious chicken. Try our chicken cordon bleu with ham and melted Swiss. It'll have you saying,
I'm thinking Arby's, brother.
Tonight, the symphony is in town and performing an evening of Beethoven's greatest works. Everyone from high society has come, even Hogan. In the lobby, many discuss Beethoven's legacy and concur that he is truly the most famous artist in history. This triggers Hogan, who always felt that he was much more famous and will have a legacy that will last much longer than some stuffy old piano guy. He clears the room and heads outside when he hears a voice, taunting him to cover up that bald head with a hat. Hogan demands this person come out of hiding so Hogan can kill him. The mysterious man jumps out of the darkness. It's Mug Tyson, and with one punch, Mug knocks Hogan out cold. This famous boxer, for some reason, insists everyone wear a hat, especially if he's bald. No one can explain why, but bald heads with no hat to cover them sends Mug into a rage. Hogan tests this theory out by taking off and putting on a hat over and over. It's just like taunting a fighting fish with a mirror. Mad, normal, mad, normal, mad, normal, mad, normal, mad, normal. Hogan takes things too far when he drops trow. Mug mistakes this for Hogan's bald head and shoves his fist right where the sun doesn't shine. Hogan visits his good friend Kyushu Riki and strikes up the idea of heading over to the adult theater, like he often does in his free time. However, that will have to be put on hold until later, because it turns out that some kid is drawing on the side of Ricky's house. He's quite an artist. They chase after the kid and Hogan manages to catch him. Ricky demands the kid wash the drawing off. Hogan schlongs Ricky on the head and instead orders the kid to finish the drawing, much to the delight of both Hogan and Ricky. My, what a great drawing. After a day of hard training, Wajima heads down to a new curry restaurant that opened just a few days ago. Hogan, dressed as an Indian proprietor, asks Wajima what style of curry he'd like. Beef. Hogan lays down a nice plate of hot curry with a live cow sticking out. Wajima says, "Okay, how about shrimp?" "Oh, I get it. Shrimp in Japanese is ebi, and Hogan gave him snakes, which is hebi. How about chicken?" Hogan gives him chokin, a bank book. "Okay, what about katsukari, a pork cutlet?" "Kutsukari, a shoe." All no good. Hogan recommends the house curry, but be warned, it's super spicy. To demonstrate, he lets one drop hit the counter, which sends the whole thing up in flames. Wajima says thanks, but no thanks, and prepares to leave. Hogan locks down the door and forces Wajima to eat the whole pot. That sure does look spicy. It turns out Wajima quite likes the taste and eats even more. With that much spice in his system, it's no wonder Wajima just spontaneously combusts. Hogan and some of the other wrestlers take a long-awaited and long-deserved trip to Hawaii. It truly is a paradise. Oh, and then there's the girls. Hey, isn't Hawaii where everyone gets a free lay? Maybe that's just at the airport. Just one look at these ladies makes Hawk's hair stand on edge. Of course, Hogan has to play a joke and ruin the fun. One of the ladies tells everyone they are welcome to as much fruit as they like. Hogan and Wajima help themselves to some coconuts. Or maybe I should say they can't help themselves. The other guys take it out on Hogan, fearing that he may scare all other girls away. They hit the beach. Andre gets buried in the sand. Hogan takes a dune buggy and tries to use the giant as a launch pad. It looks like Andre thought ahead. Now it's time to go surfing. Everyone is able to hang 10. But then suddenly, shark! Shark! Yeah, a real killer, all right. Just then, a real shark arrives, with some friends, and they sure do look hungry. What do you think Hogan is gonna do? He hightails it out of there, leaving Wajima hanging. And that's the last we ever saw of him. The whole crew gathers together for a celebration party. The 5th volume of Yappa a Hogan Yo has just been released. You know, the book you're reading right now? Yeah, this one. How meta. Everyone is drinking to their heart's content. Hogan is drinking so fast that rather than get up and get a new beer, he just refills the old one he has. No one really buys beer after all. Just renting, as they say. Animal takes offense to this, and Hogan sprays him down in defiance, leading the two to come to blows. To calm things down, the boss takes to the stage and announces that Hogan will now come up to the mic and say a few words. Hogan takes to the mic and knocks everyone down with the Ichiban. Even though this would usually lead to a huge fight, Andre and the others laugh it off, saying this is Hogan's trademark, something that makes the series unique, and honestly, it pays the bills for all of us, so why not? Hogan then doubles down, and, well, I can't put it into words. All I can say is, this is as good a point to end on as any. So, that's it. The end. Good night, everybody.